Hi, I'm Erica, a mom, wife, and caregiver. I have been through the highs and lows of having a child with a medically complex background and special needs, all caused by epilepsy. I'm here to let you know you're not alone. There are so many resources out there, and that you too can and will come out on the other side stronger and more resilient than you ever imagined. It's not always easy, but I'm here for you. Welcome to the Parenting Epilepsy and Special Needs podcast. We all have those days or even weeks where everything feels off. That is the vibe of this episode. And I'm going to tell you um, just a little bit about what's been happening over here in our home and why I've been feeling that way. So, just to give you an idea, the summer has just been a little crazy and, for all different reasons. But some of my episodes have come out I usually try to get them out on Wednesdays. A few have come out on Thursdays, and this one, I believe, will come out on a Friday. But either way, I'm getting it out there, and that's all I care. So I I typed up 3 different sets of I always type up some notes of what I'm gonna talk about as I'm recording, and I have 3 different topics that I was planning for this week. Obviously, I wasn't planning to release all 3, but it's just kind of funny how this week and even, I started doing this last week and just how things transpired. So, anyways, um, let's start with this. So, in my head, I keep thinking it's Monday. I know. I'm not a Monday person, so I don't know why I keep thinking it's Monday. Um, Maybe it's my brain's way of trying to give me a fresh start. I don't know. As I mentioned in a past episode, our daughter started the ketogenic diet earlier this summer. And at the time that I'm recording this, she has been on the diet for roughly about 7.5 weeks. On the positive side, it's been great to see the benefits that it's had, specifically on her energy, mood, and her speech. But it unfortunately not yet has not changed her seizure intensity, frequency, anything like that. And it hasn't stopped the cluster seizures that she's been having. So I spoke with her dietitian at our local hospital that we're working with, and we adjusted her keto ratio so that she gets a slightly more of the healthy fats to try to help her out with the seizures. Okay, so hopefully this stops the cluster seizures that she's been having. The stressful part, as of recently, has been that she doesn't want to eat her meals. Now, this isn't always, or I should say, this isn't an area that just specifically just started happening specific to keto. Our daughter sometimes did this in the past, even just with her regular meals. So at that point, we knew it was kind of time to maybe change up whatever it was that we were offering for, say, breakfast or lunch or whatever it was. But now we can change up her meals, um, but only so much. They still have a lot of the same types of ingredients, such as like heavy whipping cream, olive oil, avocado oil, butter, a lot of that across the 3 main meals of her day. So I'm just trying to get creative. I have quite a few recipes to choose from her dietitian as we get ramped up on this diet. Um, but I think the toughest part is the food items are all things that she usually likes and was fine with in the past. But specifically, and especially in the last week and a half to 2 weeks, She's just been extremely difficult during mealtime, and I'm talking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She will do things such as saying no, she'll turn her head away from us, and her plate, and a few other things, but not to mention, she she will drag out the meal, so sometimes it can take, like, an hour for her to eat. And yes, I do know, as a part of the keto diet, she is supposed to finish her food in, like, 30 minutes. So, I've communicated this to the dietitian. I feel like we've tried it all. I've incorporated help from my husband, my other children. I've used motivational things such as letting her listen to her favorite songs if she starts eating or when she takes a few bites. Um, and it's just been a lot. So I don't want to say nothing is working because she does ultimately eat, but I don't know if you've seen Zootopia, but I feel like Judy Hopps in the scene in Zootopia where the sloth is taking his sweet time running a license plate for Judy, the police officer rabbit. This is how I feel during every meal, and I'm just about ready to lose my mind. But seriously, that's been the struggle of, say, the last I don't know, I feel like it's gotten worse in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Um, as I start thinking ahead, as I mentioned, it's currently summer, and while, yes, we have days where we have to be places, whether it's appointments or whatever it is, I get anxious when I think about school starting in a few weeks, and what will this look like at breakfast time? How are we going to make it to the bus on time? Will she eat her lunch at school and eat all of it in a timely manner for her paras or the one-to-one aides that are at school with her? So, what I've been doing is I step away, I'll take a few deep breaths to calm down, and I'll come back and either in a very nice, loving voice explain why it's so important that she eats her food. And then on top of all of that, sometimes she looks at me and says, "Okay," with a smile, and then proceeds to eat her meal. And I am just like, so I don't know. She's also about to turn 13. So maybe that's that has something to do with it. Just kind of that's her way of being a difficult teenager. I don't know, but I need a break from that aspect of it. Um, so on a more serious note, Wednesday morning, I woke up to her seizing and it was intense. The seizure reached the 2-minute mark. I gave her her rescue medication. It did not work. So I began to get her ready to head to our local emergency room, which thankfully is only a few minutes away. Thankfully, she did stop seizing as I decided that I still thought I should drive her to the ER or at least head that direction in case she began seizing again, because sometimes that will happen. And I couldn't quite tell with this type of seizure what was going to happen. So thankfully, again, as I said, she was fine. Um, we made it to the ER parking lot. We sat in the car. We talked and just hung out. I try to give it an hour before I leave, just to be safe. If we make it an hour, it usually means she's gonna be okay. At least that's what I've seen and how her body and her brain works. She was fine, but my nervous system, and I'm sure her entire body, were just rocked. I mean, she did not sleep well that past night. She was tossing and turning all night, and I think her sleep deprivation may have contributed to her intense seizure that she had, around 6:15 AM that morning on Wednesday. She is doing okay now. Um, Obviously, she's a little off the next day or so, but, um, overall, she's doing great today, thankfully. But for me, as I get older, I notice that it takes me a day or even 2, to catch up and feel like myself again after a night of not sleeping well, or if I've had alcohol, or just if I'm off. And we have the SAMI epilepsy monitor. I know I've mentioned and talked about this in past episodes. So when she has a seizure, or if our daughter is tossing and turning in her bed, I am alerted at night. And there's an iPad that's next to our bed that basically, like, an alarm goes off to tell me that there's movement that either is looking to be like a seizure or she's moving. So, as a result of all of this chaos, I haven't felt like myself. I feel off. I'm tired, but just like I think any mom, our list of things to do continues to grow. So I feel the need to keep going. And I know that you can relate to this. Some days are just truly so hard. And there is still the need to show up as my best self for my family, and especially my daughter with special needs who has the hemiparesis, epilepsy, and she still needs me and my energy to help her in the washroom, changing pull ups, preparing all of her meals, getting her dressed, assisting her with movement throughout our home, in and out of the car, and just in everyday life outside in the world. So, most days, I I feel like I handle this very well, but I am human too. And there are some days that are just tough where I think to myself, and I try not to go down this road too often for my own just mental health and all of that. Um, but I think to myself, why did this happen to her? Should be outside riding bikes with her friends, getting involved in sports, doing things that a typical 13-year-old enjoys. But that isn't the case. However, while these thoughts do cross my mind every once in a while, as I've said before, I don't allow myself to stay in this place very long. I focus on, and I remember how far she has come, what she has been through, and what she can do, and how unbelievably hilarious, strong, and determined she is. And I appreciate her for the affectionate, silly, complete goofball, almost teenager that she is. I love her so much. And while we have some really difficult days together, because while I am her person, her mom, her caregiver, we also have some pretty amazing days. Um, she she always is the best at telling me how much she loves me, and she'll always tell me that I'm her best friend, as well as she tells her sisters and her dad that, and we love it. And I know that she loves me and cares about me, obviously, but I also know that she is a human, and she's almost 13. So when I'm recording this, her birthday is this weekend. Um, she is going to push my buttons and test me and will drive me crazy, just as my typical developing children do from time to time. That's normal. That's life. So when I feel myself in this place of chaos or feeling off or just not like myself, I think back to my own habits and how am I eating? How am I exercising? How am I sleeping? And wow, look at that. It's not just my daughter experiencing a difficult time and feeling off, it's me too, because I haven't been eating as well as I could, or I fell out of my workout routine for, say, the last week or so. And well, sleep. You heard that earlier. It's been rough. So, in closing, I want to remind you that you're not alone. All of us, especially us moms of children with many complex medical and special needs, have those rough days or rough weeks. It's normal, but we have to pay attention to also what we are doing to help get our body and mental state back on track. Go for a walk, call a friend, watch an episode of your favorite show or comedian to make you laugh while you do a workout or go on a walk. Hey, maybe watch Zootopia and watch that one scene I was talking about. It's actually really funny. Um, but pay attention to what you are eating, how much caffeine you're consuming. Completely guilty over here. I've had way too much coffee. And stop and reset. So, thank you for joining me today. Please share this with someone who could benefit from hearing today's episode. Don't forget to rate a review or rate this episode. It means the world to me and helps get this show out to others who need this information. You can follow me on Instagram at parenting_epilepsy_special needs. We'll see you on the next episode.